reason to be proud.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have, it's third generation. My daughter is a manager. My niece is managers now. You know, we educate our young. We still have over 100 employees. I know we was one of the largest private employer in Harlem for many, many years, you know. I think, and so we just continue to, you know, try to be a staple in the neighborhood. Because Mom always says she's Harlem, you know, and we look at Harlem as our home.
So I have two questions. One is more business aspect, and the second is on food. So initially, specifically on the business, any issues in terms of because I guess it's been a couple of years now that you've had the outside cafe. So have you had any issues or police activity in the cafe or even inside?
No, we've been pretty, you know, we hadn't had any real problem because during the summer, you know, it can get very active on the avenue at sometimes. But I think especially neighborhood folks respect who we are. They know who Sylvia is. You know, I mean, going back historically when Martin Luther King was assassinated and Lenox Avenue was tore up, the restaurant wasn't touched. You know, so I'm just saying that as an example that the neighborhood tend to watch out for their, you know, for their own, especially for these iconic places that's been around for a long time.
I almost called you Van.
yeah.
But and then I have a question really more as it relates to food. So I know that you have particular philosophy as it relates to food, and now that it's health is everywhere, and the concept around Southern comfort food. How have you changed? Have you changed?
I changed before it even got popular.
Okay, so what have you done?
What happened, I never forget, it was in the early 90s, a news reporter came in. I forgot which news reporter it was, but it was right at the time when a lot of issues about health, you know, and they came and, you know, he kind of stuck a mic in my face, you know, one of you know, a well-known restaurant here in Harlem, what are you doing? You know, Harlem has a high rate of, you know, blood pressure and all of these
Diabetes,
things.
hypertension, obesity.
Yeah, the whole, so, you know, what we basically did back then, I never advertised it, is we reviewed all our recipes, you know. We have reduced sodium, we reduced sugar, we have reduced a lot of our recipes. So that, and it wasn't easy because we had to do a lot of, you know, research and development to maintain the same quality of, the same taste profile. And even when the health department had mandated to take out trans fat, I had to take out trans fat almost 8 years before it became mandatory. So we was in front of a lot of the issues because my dad was very health conscious. You know, he became not a vegetarian, but he was doing a lot of juicing and things like that. So we was, you know, very conscious. And then over the years, my menu has exploded with grill items, grill and bake. You know, a lot of fish, a lot of grill items, and even though I still sell more fried chicken than anything else, you know. But I say, you know, just do it. And then even in the collard greens, we offer two types of greens, traditional and vegetarian greens. So we've done all of those things too, because we have a conscience, a social conscience to the community and to our people. That's something we don't just talk about and tell everybody, but that's who we are.
How many people do you employ now?
100 plus.
And are they all from the local community?
Most of them are. Most of them are right here in Hall. And we have employees that's been with us for more than 40 years. Raised families and in the college and, yeah.
Well, I'm glad he's not setting the bar high for.
I saw in the media you had a lunch yesterday. Had a lunch.
Yeah, matter of fact, I actually got that call like maybe 10 hours before that night. I got a call from them. But Sylvia's is the World Kitchen.
Yes.
It's the World Kitchen. We all are welcome. I just let them know that normally whoever come and visit wins. Yeah.
Any other questions? Any questions from the board? Any other questions from the community? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Next, renewal application, Son of May LLC, known as Corner Social.
Yep, right here.
How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Rafael Benavides.
Rafael, nice to meet you, John Lynch.
Pleasure. How are you? Hello, everyone.
So this is, I guess this will be your second renewal?
Yes, that is
You are
correct.
going on 4 years?
Yes.
Or you finished 4 years. This is Corner Social, right across from Sylvia's.
Sylvia's, yes.
North 26th and 9th Avenue. How has your business been since your last renewal?
It's been fortunately very good. We're looking forward to now that finally, for the past almost 3 years, we had a scaffold in front of our building. And the landlord informed us that it's coming down already, so by the end of this week, we'll be scaffold free. Because, I mean, anytime that you look at a scaffold, you can see the positive, but also the negative. The positive is that the weather doesn't affect you as much as when you have one. But then also you have the people who like to congregate around the scaffold, and a lot of the time that tends to create problems that businesses don't want. So it's it's a blessing, the fact that we're going to be able to showcase the beautiful facade that the establishment has. I am recently new at Corner Social. I've opened 5 restaurants, all of them on the east side, and I met Anaí, the owner, and one thing led to the other, and she asked me if I could help her out. Restaurants is my forte.
What is your role?
I'm sorry?
What is your role at the restaurant?
General manager, of operations. So basically, I oversee menus, personnel, training personnel, basically the whole gamut of operations of the restaurant.
Okay.
Yes.
I saw in the papers that you submitted. We asked about whether you've had any incidents, security incidents, police incidents, and you responded that there have been some incidents, but nothing, major. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, we work very closely with the 28th precinct. I myself personally introduced myself to the officers there. We're working very closely with Detective Peña. And because he really looks out for all the restaurants and everything. And we had an incident on New Year's Eve. That after watching the videotape was something that nobody could have avoided. A guy told a girl something, the other guy didn't like it, and then it became a situation where they started talking. Then we had to call the 28th precinct. So that was one of the incidents that we had. There was another incident where we have a little cove in the back of the restaurant, and one of our busboys put a candle and he put it on the wrong base. So there was a couple of drips of the wax, and that fell onto her coat. We offered to take care of that, but she wouldn't have it any other way. I called the precinct myself, and so they could come and help us out. And so incidents like that, basically,
How about noise issues? Have you received noise complaints from any of your
Well, we have one tenant that actually lives on the second floor of the business, and the situation with that is, and this I learned after I arrived, is that the landlord needed to soundproof the apartment, between the space between the restaurant and the apartment. They wanted to rent it because, of course, the space is in high demand. But they told the tenant, listen, there is a bar over there, and Lenox Avenue on any Friday or Saturday is a really busy street. We have Red Rooster on one side, we have Cove on the other side, Lucien. So it's a very active street. So, it's up to you if you want to take it. And the guy said yes, that he was okay with that. A couple months later, he called me personally and said, like, listen, this is my sanctuary, this is my home, and all that. So we went to the landlord and we explained the situation to him. So now what the landlord is doing is that he's moving that tenant over to apartment 4E, where it won't be, it won't be an issue. So.
How about issues with the SLA and the violations?
No, not to my knowledge, and none of that.
And is there any change in your operations since 2 years ago?
Well, as soon as I arrived at Corner Social, the first thing that I wanted to see is that, what was going on operationally. And I noticed that the menu wasn't up to what I like to see in a restaurant. So right away, I upgraded the menu, and I have a huge network of chefs, restaurateurs, people in the business. And one of my chefs that I had at one of the places that I opened in the east side, I'm sure that some of you guys are familiar with it, Ricardo Steakhouse. Mm-hmm. I opened that in 2004. So when I sold it in 2011, the chef, he didn't want to stay with me, so he went to Cipriani's. So when Anaí and I started talking, so I called him and I said, hey, listen, you got to come back to Harlem. And he's like, oh, are you kidding me? So right away he said yes, and basically now, he's the one that we have, as the executive chef there. Yeah. So the menu has, it's basically totally different, because what I felt was that Corner Social wasn't taking advantage of the clientele that comes between 4 and 10 p.m. So, and that's something that I really want. The first thing that I told Anaí was, listen, we are a restaurant bar, not a bar restaurant. We want to, because what most people don't realize, and correct me if I'm wrong, the bar business doesn't work uptown. If you open a bar and you don't have food, you are going down. That's what has been always my philosophy. Harlemites like to eat and have a couple drinks with their meal. So that's basically the business model that we want to follow. We want to be able to people come. We have added a lot of steaks to the menu, fish, pastas. So the menu is actually evolving every single day, because the chef and I were always playing with new recipes, new dishes, but it has grown tremendously, and it's going to keep growing, on a daily basis.
How many people are you employing?
30 plus, yes.
And how do you?
Not 100 yet.
Are your employees generally from the?
80% of them are from Harlem. Yes.
How do you go about hiring and ensuring that you get a lot of local? Anytime that a position opens up, I'm in charge of that right now, making sure that everybody, and I can train anyone to become a great server, a great bartender. It all depends on their attitude. So the first thing that I look for in a potential employee is that do they have the willingness, the attitude to learn? Because I can train you, I can make you a really good employee at the restaurant. But the first thing that I look for is that attitude, that willingness, for the employee to learn. And we've been very fortunate right now that we have a really, really good team. But as we grow and as the season comes, summer, having the Sidewalk Cafe open, that's going to require more personnel. So slowly, the chef and I, we're increasing, right now at this moment, we're in the process of getting ready for that stage. So when it comes, we will be 100% ready for that. Are there any questions from the community?
Sounds like you made a lot of improvements since you've come on board, which is exciting. But what are the biggest challenges of the restaurant now? Like now that you've come on board and now that you've upgraded the menu and you have good staff, like what are your biggest challenges?
The number one issue that all restaurants have, increase your sales. Yeah, so because I'm taking care of the personnel, that's an ongoing training process, which is my first element. See, on my restaurants, I work on the elements of 4. You see, to me, a successful restaurant is to have 4 elements. Great food, great service, great ambience, and great marketing. So I have taken care of the first 3. Now what I need to do is marketing, because marketing is the fuel to everything that we do, no matter what kind of business you're in.
So what are you
So-
looking to do as marketing wise?
Once again, the best type of marketing there is word of mouth. So, and I tell my staff every single day, the worst type of customer that a restaurant can have is a satisfied customer. They all look at me cross-eyed when I tell them that. Everybody will want to have a satisfied customer. And I tell them that to me, that's not enough. I want a wowed customer. And how do you accomplish that? By giving them all the three elements. So because I could spend thousands of dollars in marketing, like a lot of places do. But, it starts from inside. It's not from the outside in, it's from the inside out. So my philosophy when it comes to restaurants is that.
Are you involved in the operations at Angel Harlem?
I am not necessarily involved, but we've been able to change so much at Corner Social that now, and I said I can, so I am training the personnel over at Angel, as far as, giving them a tip, like the menu, they will ask me to come to a tasting, and I say, no, do it like this. But as far as operational, no. No. But, this is another great thing when you asked the gentleman from Sylvia. You see, one of the greatest things about Harlem, and one of the things what I love working in Harlem, is because, believe it or not, there is a sense of community. We go to, about 3 weeks ago, we ran out of maple syrup. Guess where we went? To Sylvia's. And guess what? They said, okay. Then Cove and Babalucci, they ran out of a container for something else. They come to us, So there is always that camaraderie. We always want to help each other. So when a restaurant comes and they need any type of help, everybody, helps out, which is awesome. Not many neighborhoods have that. And that's something that we still have in Harlem.
And what kind of community activities does Corner Social get involved in?
All of them. Yes, we are Harlem Park to Park. We work with Nicola Evans. Anytime that the community needs anything regarding basically anything, donation of food. We just donated food for the service for the journalist Michael Feeney. So basically, we get involved in as much as possible. Any community organization that asks us, we're there to help out. Yes.
Any other questions? Are there any questions from the community? Okay.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Next up, Boulevard Bistro LLC, 239 Lenox Avenue, southwest corner of 122nd Street. Chef,
How are you? How are you? I'm Chef Carlos. I'm the chef and owner of Boulevard Bistro. I took over the restaurant maybe about 2 years ago. So this is the first renewal since I've taken it over.
Can I just ask you on the business model? So is the original owner, Mark Melvin,
Yes.
is he still an owner or?
He's still involved.
Okay.
He's still involved because he's still tied in with the liquor. So he's still involved.
Okay. But you are effectively managing the business
Correct.
at this point?
Correct.
Okay, so you've been 2 years into it
Correct.
personally?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
How is business at Boulevard?
Business is going well. It's been a great 2 years. The first year I thought we hit a level that I didn't think we could hit, and then the second year this is going into the second year now. It's really taken off organically, and the community's really embraced it, and everything from the food and from the great ambiance of the restaurant, the great service. Like the gentleman said here, one thing that I focused on is service just as much as the food.
Okay. And how many people do you employ?
I employ a little under 20 people, give or take.
Now you have, you're solely wine and beer.
Correct.
Do you find that the lack of liquor service perceived an impact on your bottom line?
No, I mean, you would like to have the full liquor license, but my restaurant I see 36 inside and 12 outside, so it's a very intimate space. So because of its intimate space, it's not really that whole bar scene. People are coming to dine. People are coming to have a great meal. They can still have a great bottle of wine. We have a great wine program at the restaurant that I took a lot of time to develop. So they don't really miss that much as having a cocktail.
And I don't know, I didn't ask, how many employees do you have?
A little under 20.
Okay. And how do you go about hiring your people?
I do two processes. I'll use word of mouth. I use actually three. I use word of mouth. I use Craigslist, and I actually use a local program that hires back to work men out of and women out of prison. And
What is that program?
I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but I have it. It's in the top of my head, but I can't think of the name of it. But it's a program in the Bronx, and it has a lot of gentlemen and ladies that are out of prison that when you hire them, actually for the restaurant, I don't know if owners know this, it's a tax break also. So if you hire them, it's a tax break. If you hire people that have been on unemployment for 9 months or more, you get, I think it's half of their salary back in a tax return. And I always say that hiring men and women out of prison, what happens is a lot of times people return back to jail because they don't have a place to go. They don't have employment. No one gives them a fair shot. And not saying everyone is great, but it's been successful.
That was my next question. Have you had issues with that, or has
I haven't had any issues at all, and I've actually developed a couple of good people through that program. But I used it before I opened. I used it before I took over Boulevard Bistro. I used it when I was at another place downtown before, and I always found it very, very successful. And because one thing about people out of prison, they're eager. They're eager to learn, and they're eager to be around someone that's not too far removed from them. Not saying I was never in prison, but I'm just not as a black man. You know, as a black man, you're not that far removed from that situation, right? That situation is still close. So you're able to nurture them and show them the trade.
Have you had any security issues at the restaurant?
No, not at all.
Okay. You don't have live music or anything of that nature?
No.
Noise issues from
No.
your residents?
No.
How about SLA violations of any
No,
kind?
nothing.
Any questions, Dr. Smith?
One of my favorite spots when I can get in.
Yeah.
Therefore, my question really to you is, in terms of the business model, in terms of growth, how are you dealing with success? Because of the intimacy of the space, people may not come because they don't think they can get in, or how are you adjusting that in terms of your business?
Well, two things. Number one, I always say to people that if you make a reservation, you'll always get in. So I let the guests know of that. And also, too, we're working on another project. So, to move Boulevard Bistro to a little bit of a larger location, but still on Lenox. We're looking actually currently now at a couple of locations. So that will help in itself. But these are good problems to have. Like, these aren't necessarily bad problems to have. And I tell people all the time, they say, well, the wait, I have to wait, it's an hour and a half, it's 2 hours for brunch on the weekend. I said, yeah, but you go to Penn Street Bakery downtown on Penn Street, and the wait is 3 hours, and people sit on the curb and wait to eat and go inside. So I said, it is what it is. If you want to wait, you wait. If you don't, But for the most part, people will wait, or even like they'll make a reservation. That's what I really tell folks. I said, just go onto the website, make a reservation, and I even give my card out. I said, call me or something, or call the restaurant. I mean, my parents make a reservation. I'm dead serious. I look in one Sunday, I'm like literally looking in the open table. Before every shift, I go through the reservations to see how many covers we have, see if I recognize guests. And I said, David, it made me sweat. 4 o'clock. So I called my mom. I said, you made a reservation? Oh, I don't want to. I know how it gets there. I just went online and booked the table. I don't want any problems. So.
First, I want to say thank you. Your service to the community. I believe that you donated to the Martha King Day thing through one of the schools.
I think so.
So that was awesome. Thank you for that. And I want to know, how did you find out about the program for which you hire?
Well, I worked with the program before, prior.
Okay.
Yeah, my old boss, when I was at a boutique hotel as executive chef, he used to use them. But that program was no longer in existence, but I was still looking for a program. And it just so happened one of my guests came in, and they were the director of the program, and they asked me, "Oh," I said, "Oh yeah, that's fine with me. That's right up my alley." You know.
Because I just wonder, like, I don't think that a lot of other business owners even know that these programs exist, that they could get the tax
Yeah,
request
they
and gave that as a
they
tip.
can get contact
And I
with
think
me.
that's a
I'll show
really
them.
good
Yeah,
resource that
it's a really
even
good.
us as a community board would like to know, like if you can get us that information so that we can
Okay.
even like let other businesses know
Definitely.
and be connected to those resources.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anything else on the board, from the board? Any questions from the community?
Like your food too.
Thank you.
Now, their biscuits are serious.
Biscuits are there.
Yeah.
Complaints?
Those biscuits are good.
Don't buy it.
Oh, man, first one's free after that point. You got a bag out, but first one.
That's right.
Okay.
Manhattan Rent.
Okay, we're gonna go to some new applications. H Hops LLC, intended to do business as Harlem Hops Craft Beer Bar. Craft beer bar, yes.
He emailed.
Anyone here from? Oh, okay, great. Okay. So this is a full liquor license application, 2268 Adam Plain Powell Boulevard, which is between 133rd and 134th on the west side. And that's right across from the Shrine and Yatenga, and up the blocks from, block off from another place up there.
Oh, hops.
Whatever.
Across the street from your time.
Right, across from Yatenga.
Yeah, directly across the street.
So, what are your prior experiences? Have you been in the restaurant business before? Is this a new venture, Charlie, for you?
Well, I've worked at bars. And, like, one of my boys that I grew up with had a place down in West Village. So when I was a kid, I would go down there and get jobs in the summer. So I worked at the White Horse Tavern for a long time. I worked at Amsterdam Billiards. So, you know, I'm a personal trainer. So that's what I did for last
And just your names again.
I'm Devon.
You're Devon. And you're
I'm Kim Harris,
Okay,
yes.
great. Okay. And how did you guys come together to decide to start this venture?
I'm a personal trainer, but I do like beer. So I was like, if I'm going to do the next chapter, why not do a beer garden? And there's no beer gardens really. There are not enough beer gardens in Harlem. In Brooklyn, they're all around. No one's doing cool beer.
So it's been a long process in the making. About 4 or 5 years ago, Devon came up with this idea, and I knew that at that same time that I wanted to open a bar in Harlem. And he, approached me, and we started discussing beer. And from there, I started tasting beer. Then I, through my travels throughout Europe, going to different beer gardens, et cetera, and realizing that, hey, this is something that might actually be, if we can find the perfect timing to do it in the right location, it'll be a big success in Harlem, especially as African Americans, where it's disproportionate amount of African Americans involved in the brewing industry. So for us, it's something that we're really into, and we want to venture into developing our own brews as well. But
And there's some really cool guys that's brewing beer in Harlem.
Yeah.
There's a couple of cats doing it. We want to showcase them
and showcase all the people that aren't being showcased, you know what I mean? And there's the popular ones and then the ones that aren't being showcased. We want to provide opportunities for everyone to have people to experience what they're brewing.
And so tell us a little bit about what your vision is. I know from your menu, it looks like you're sort of small plates, bar food, sandwiches, and beer.
Yeah, I mean, Rothwords, really cool. Hot dogs, cheeses, sandwiches, like really good pastrami, man. And pizza. Gotta put pizza in there. Beer, and fun stuff that tastes good.
And there are no churches or schools nearby, so you're eligible for full liquor license.
That's what the lawyer said that was go for it. So we didn't have any of those things in our way. So
Yeah, I don't know.
the difference was a couple,
And when do you plan to open the park?
We're saying spring, in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah, we have our contractor, he's in there, well, not right now, but he's been in there. We had to do a full build out because, the space hasn't been used in a very long time. So he's working on the beams in the ceiling and the floor right now, and then he'll start, all the cosmetic stuff in about a couple of weeks. So if everything goes well as we intend, this spring will definitely be open. And, the date is still tentative, the exact date is finished for now.
And tell me what kind of entryway do you have? Is it accessible entryway?
Yes, it is wheelchair accessible and,
Street level?
yes, it will be street level. Yeah.
Okay.
He's, the floors have all been, I don't know what the length of terminology is, but he's making sure everything is like this flat
Level?
surface, even surface with the sidewalk. And we have one wheelchair accessible bathroom being built.
Okay, and is your builder aware that your interior should be accessible, your bar area should be accessible to a wheelchair or someone who is
Yes.
accessible? Okay.
Yeah.
And when do you think you'll begin hiring?
Right, well, speaking with our manager and our bar director, we're estimating within the next couple of weeks, we're gonna start putting up signs, posting signs, and posting on Craigslist and different sites. But our goal is to, have an extensive vetting process and making sure we find the right people that are equally as excited about beer as we are, preferably people that live in a neighborhood. And if they're not as excited about beer as we are, then we want them to be eager to learn. Because it's, we'll have the brewers, the craft brewers, and everybody coming in and educating the whole team. But it's just essential that everybody has a strong education and understanding of it, because that's the whole goal for us, is to introduce and teach everybody that comes into the space what it is that they're experiencing. Because it's just, it's more than just getting a cocktail. It's more than that. So we want to create an experience and make sure they're very well educated.
How many employees do you envision hiring?
Right now, we have 10 people.
Okay, and are you, both you individually going to be involved in the operations?
Yeah. Yes.
So does 10 include you or 10?
No, it doesn't include us. It doesn't include us in our partner.
And are you aware of any of the local agencies that can assist you in hiring from the community?
Well, that's what I've been talking to our bar director about, to get us familiar with that, because personally we weren't aware, I wasn't aware of any local agencies that actually do, you can hire, bar and hospitality staff in Harlem.